Concerns mounting in Pakistan. The $7 billion economic bailout from the International Monetary Fund is faltering. The deal was reached in July, but Pakistan's accusing the IMF of stalling. Pakistani and IMF officials are meeting on Wednesday to discuss the deal further. The country's economy faced a slump after years of political instability. It's shown some signs of improvement that the government's anxious to maintain. Let's go to Islamabad and speak to Kamal Haider. So, Kamal, I wonder if you can explain to us why there are these fears that this bailout may be faltering.
Well, before I can come to that, let me tell you, I'm at Para market. This is the oldest market in Islamabad where people come for their daily shopping. You can see a person who is selling a drink made out of yogurt. On the other side, you see a restaurant which is preparing tikkas. But the people who come to these markets are worried given the fact that Pakistan has had to wait for this IMF bailout. The country has been to the IMF for 23 times in the past 75 years. But people today will tell you that it is now beyond their means to be able to even continue with their normal lives because of runaway inflation, high taxes, because the IMF package comes with strings attached. It means that Pakistan government will have to generate more revenue, and they're doing so by taxing the people, which in turn is affecting small businesses, fruit sellers, vegetable shops. Whoever we've been talking to will tell you that it has now become almost impossible to survive. But why does the country keep going back to the IMF? We've been talking to economists who say that Pakistan has got used to begging for loans. It is borrowing money in order to pay interest on previous borrowings. And that, of course, means that the country will have to think seriously about structural reforms. They tell you the country cannot continue to survive on IMF bailouts. It has to come out with a concrete plan to address the problems and to alleviate the suffering of the people.
And Kamal, remind us how precisely dependent Pakistan is on all of this international money.
Well, Pakistan depends on friendly countries who, of course, have now agreed once again to roll over the loans that they've given to Pakistan just to keep Pakistan's economy just barely on the surface and to help it from not sinking into the depths of economic collapse. But it is definitely having a deep impact on a population of 250 million people. They cannot pay their electricity bills, they cannot survive, and that now is having a knock-on effect on the people's mental health, as we find out by meeting families in the city of Lahore. Nearly 15 million people live in Lahore, the capital of Pakistan's Punjab province. The city is a major industrial and economic hub, but it's also home to a growing number of poor people. Mohammad Bhutta and his family live in a makeshift shelter in the shadow of a partly constructed apartment block, exposed to the scorching heat of summer and the icy cold of winter. He and his 7 children make a meager living by collecting plastic bottles to sell for recycling. On a good day, they earn 1,000 rupees, which is less than $3.
We're going crazy without any way to earn a living. It's hard to survive in these tough conditions. Just look at my family. How can I feed them, let alone buy medicine or provide an education for my children? For us, these are just dreams.
Although the markets are full of people, many can't afford even the most basic items. The World Bank estimates 40% of the population is living below the poverty line, which means they survive on $2.15 a day. Rising poverty and economic hardships are pushing families into worsening hardships, and that is leading to widespread anxiety and depression. Around 80 million people in Pakistan are now suffering from mental illnesses. One clinical psychologist says young people in particular are affected.
लोग डिग्रियां हाथ में लेके Even with degrees in hand, the youth face a lack of job opportunities, leading to stress. Extreme poverty, inflation, and unemployment contribute to this mental health crisis. The government must take this issue seriously and address the basic needs of its people: job opportunities, healthcare, and education, which are fundamental rights.
It's not just the poor. Even professional skilled workers are struggling. Gaur Ahmed recently retired from his job at a textile factory and makes ends meet by working part-time as a consultant. Still, he's worried.
You can't even imagine how deeply the financial crisis has impacted us. While we often blame inflation, many other factors are affecting our budgets and family structures. If these issues aren't addressed, the consequences could be disastrous.
Experts say raising awareness about mental health issues is crucial, as well as increasing access to healthcare services and community support networks. Kamal Haider, Al Jazeera, Lahore, Pakistan.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.